Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chloe and this is A Girl Like Me with Chloe M. As soon as I start talking, the oven goes off. So today's video is going to be about transitioning socially, tips and tricks to be confident while out in public and being yourself. Today I am drinking a Bullet Bourbon Manhattan made by my boo thing with Luxardo cherries. No other cherry will do for this cocktail. Luxardo cherries are the way to go. Cheers. So today, like I said, is about transitioning socially. How do you do it? What do you do? How are you confident in that? Some people transition socially before hormones, after hormones. Some people do it during hormones. Really, there's no guideline or playbook for when or how or where to transition socially. That's within your social circles, your friends, your family, in public, school, anything like that. So I'm just gonna explain how I did that and how I found my confidence in my trans identity and how I navigated socially transitioning. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. So when I first started transitioning 6 years ago, I began hormones before transition. For me, that's just what I wanted to do and what I felt comfortable with. Some people do the opposite. Some people transition socially before they transition hormonally. Some people don't even use hormones at all, and that's fine. Transition is not a cut and paste kind of thing. Transition is whatever you want it to be, whatever you feel comfortable with in expressing your identity. And transition is beautiful in that way because you can really tailor it to what your expectations of yourself, your circumstances, your personal beliefs are. So for me, I started to socially transition April, May, June, 3 months after I started taking hormones. So I just came up on my 6th year of hormones in April. It's April now. And I, in June, started to come out to people. And on June, I think it was June 22nd, I appeared as Chloe for the first time in a social setting. It was a really great friend of mine's wedding. And I came as Chloe. I threw in a pair of wedges, a dress, and drop earrings, and I was feeling the fantasy because I was finally able to express to people how I felt on the inside, on the outside, if that makes any sense. I always say, when you are transitioning, find things that make you feel good about yourself, whether that's clothes, makeup, a song, a scarf. I mean, it could be anything, a jacket, a purse. It doesn't have to be like a physical item. I mean, you could have a power song. You could totally put in your music, be you in public, go walk down the street and just feel powerful while listening to your favorite song. For me, it's anything by Cher, but that's neither here nor there. A poem for all of you. So, find things that make you feel good about yourself. I said this in my last video, my last transition related video, which was transitioning during school. I think it's always so important to find your support people. Find people who are going to be there for you, are going to be a backbone for you emotionally during your transition. My best friend, Sarah, she was like the first person, I think probably one of the first people I told that I was trans. And she was there. She was like, okay, are you sure? Yep. Okay, what do we need to do? What do I need to do? How can I help you? And I think it's really important to just have at least one friend that you can talk to. and just speak your truth too, because just getting that off of your chest, I think, is just a big relief, and it's the first step for many people. I mean, finding your brothers or sisters or siblings in the community. I think a lot of people, you know, for me, for the longest time, I was hanging out in gay bars and hanging out with my gay friends or my lesbian friends, and it just, you know, sometimes it didn't always feel like everyone understood what I was going through. But having that sense of community, having those people who minutely might have an inkling of what you're going through is important. And if you have even better ability of finding people who are going through what you're going through, even better. I mean, for me, Danny, my other best friend, she's my trans sister, and Faith and Brandana, who are my other trans sisters. I have to say Faith is like my trans mother, because she is really who pushed me to get my name change done, to do a lot of things. She kind of walked me through, you know, the beginning stages of my transition, and I'm forever grateful for that. So it doesn't matter if you're a trans woman, trans man, someone who's non-binary, someone, I don't care how you identify, but as long as you are able to find people who vibe with you, who can understand at least a part of what you're going through, I think it's important. They don't have to be physically in the same location that you are. They don't have to be, you know, right by your side. They can be online. They can be on YouTube. They can be on Instagram. But if you have someone who you can talk to during your you know, coming out process, or during your first couple days during kind of those outings where you're finally expressing yourself on the outside, whether that be through clothes or whatever. And I think it's really, really important to acknowledge that just because, you know, just because someone dresses feminine doesn't necessarily mean they're trans, doesn't necessarily, you know, mean that they're femme or non-binary. It's always important to ask or talk through that. So just remember, everything I say is coming from my experience. You know, in my experiences as a trans woman. So that's what I can speak to. But I think the next step is, you know, finding those people, like I said, finding things that make you confident or comfortable, and then just kind of assessing your surroundings. Is it safe to be open where you live? Is it safe to be, you know, vocal about yourself where you live? Because that's, you know, it's really important to think about safety. If you don't care, great. You know, for me, I've always been very vocal about my identity, but that's also because I live in a very liberal state. I'm a very privileged person. I do have to acknowledge the fact that in most places, if I wasn't talking to anyone or interacting with people in a way that they would either hear me talk or where I would tell people my identity, I do have that privilege to be able to say, like, just walk into a grocery store and not say anything, and people just like, oh, that's just another lady. And I know that, you know, that is a privilege that I have been born with, and I want to be able to say that, you know, it has helped me through my whole transition, and I'm not ashamed of that. But I have to acknowledge that when explaining things to people, because it may not be the case for everyone. So that's why I say safety is always a priority for me personally when talking about my transition, or when talking or giving advice to other people about their transition. If being trans in public is going to get you killed, and you know it will, that might be something to think about. If you don't care, if that's what you want to do, if you feel like this is something that no matter what anyone says or does to you, you have to do it, go with your gut. But always know and always find people who support you, because they will have your back, and that's really important, especially as a trans person or a non-binary person or someone who is within our community. One of the ways that I was able to socially transition, and I'm gonna say that like 1,000 times, but was able to socially transition and make people understand like who I was, my identity, all of that, is, you know, I emailed all of my family members because I was out of state, and none of my family was, you know, near me at the time, besides my brother, but he knew. I emailed my family members, I told my friends, I emailed my professors, I talked to the people I was at school, and I said, like, you know, this is who I am now, these are my pronouns. Especially my professors or any teachers that you have, I think it's really important that they know your pronouns, they know your name, so that they don't misgender you or call you by the wrong name, because I think people like that, professors or teachers or whoever, you may encounter during your journey, if they are in positions of authority, like being a teacher or professor or a boss or a coworker in some sense, that they know your pronouns and your name, and that they set the example of calling you by the correct name, because that's who you are, and using your correct pronouns, because that again is who you are. So just telling people, like, hey, you know, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I'm trans, this is my name, these are my pronouns, please use that from now on. I'm no longer going by my previous name or using my previous pronouns. I ask that you please respect that, and thank you so much for cooperating or whatever. And I found that that worked really well for me with my professors and my bosses in my jobs. You know, there always will be people who don't get it. There will always be people who mess up. For me, people who, you know, used my wrong pronouns or used my incorrect name, you know, I always gave people chances, because sometimes it just takes time to adjust. That's fine. But I think at the end of the day, socially transitioning is about being yourself. It's about acknowledging the person that you feel you are inside, and showing that to the world because you're proud. It's not about wearing makeup. It's not about having long hair or wearing girly clothes or anything. It's about expressing your identity. It's about being able to say in public that I am proud of who I am. And if you're able to, if it's safe to, if you feel comfortable enough to do those things, please do it, because it will make you a happier person. I'm not gonna say it's gonna make things easy for you, because it certainly won't, especially in the beginning. There were many, many times where people made fun of me, people threatened me, people catcalled me, there were jobs that I know that they were very, very put off by the fact that I was trans. And, you know, in those situations, it's never about you, it's about them. And you just have to be confident in yourself, you have to stand your ground, and you have to own your space, because no one else is going to do that for you. As far as tips and tricks of socially transitioning and finding things that make you feel confident, I'll give you an example of what worked for me. In the beginning, I didn't wear wigs. I didn't do anything like that. I know some people have to, so if you want to wear a wig while your hair grows out, fantastic. There are so many amazing wigs out there now for people, and you get to experiment with new and fun hair. So go ahead and try that if that's what you want. I wore headbands while my hair was growing out. I really liked big earrings, or like things that kind of created that elongation. So I wore these drop earrings a lot, hoop earrings, just things that make you feel good. The biggest thing for me was I wore Rebel lipstick by MAC every single day. It was like a bright purpley pink, and for some reason that just made me feel my oats. So I wore it every day because that's what I wanted to do, and it gave me that confidence to stand in my own and claim the space around me by saying, like, you know what, I am purposefully me. I'm gonna put on this bomb ass lipstick and none of y'all can't tell me nothing. It's about finding those things, I think. As far as other things that I started doing, as I was kind of repping up to socially transition, I kind of slowly made my my clothing more androgynous as I was getting there. So a 3-month span of time, I would, you know, start to mix in different clothing that would be traditionally female. So like yoga pants or, you know, blouses or things. And I would start painting my nails or just wearing like little studs, and slowly start to incorporate things into my wardrobe so that people could get a little bit of a hint that You know, something is happening, but I don't know what, but something is happening. And then finally, just finding things that you're confident in. Not everyone needs to wear super femmy things to be themselves. You can wear whatever you want to be yourself. It's not about dressing more feminine. It's about dressing how you want to dress. So if before you were wearing polo shirts and khakis and you want to wear, you know, black shredded jeans, black makeup, and a dog choker, wear that. If you want to wear pink, flirty, girly, ruffly things, wear that. If you just want to dress like you used to dress, but in a more feminine manner, like for me, like jeans and a tank top or jeans and a v-neck, that's what I wore before, that's what I wear now, but it's just the fit or like the style. So just finding things that make you feel comfortable in a process that you feel comfortable in. For me, I felt comfortable gradually kind of getting to that kind of ta-da, I'm Chloe moment. Again, finding those things that will help you be confident and just let people know, like, hey, this is me, and there's nothing wrong with it. I hope some of these tips were helpful for you. If you want to see any other videos like this, if you want me to go into more detail about some of the tips and tricks for the way that I dress, or accessorizing, or hair, or makeup, please just let me know. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and please, 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 if you found this helpful, share my video. Until next time, I will see you all very, very soon. Please follow me on Instagram, same thing, A Girl Like Me with Chloe M. And I will see everyone later. Bye.